Brenden, your friend Jeff Jones had an article today in the Belleville News Democrat on the just kind of looking at some of the past athletes that have had the same surgery that Lars had, which again is called, as I scrolling through here, Haglund's deformity.
Yeah. Haglund's
Yeah.
deformity. That guy sounds like a real jerk. I don't know about his deformity because I guess it's not that uncommon of a thing for like the human population to have, but it certainly doesn't seem ideal if you're an athlete.
Yeah, whenever you talk about shaving down a bony growth, that just
I don't even want to. No, stop. I don't even want to talk about it. Uncomfortable.
You know what? I don't know if that's in the top 10 of uncomfortable
No, it's not.
surgeries or injuries that I'd want to talk about. But I appreciate Jeff kind of digging deep into this and giving examples of what we have, because you hear sports hernia, like what Brendan Donovan had.
Yeah.
Okay, we've seen athletes have that. Ivan Herrera, we really didn't get a whole lot of details into Ivan Herrera's injury. It was just like, yeah, his elbow's
loose
been messed
body
up for a few years, and now they're fixing it.
I think they called it loose bodies in the elbow, like a cleanup procedure.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they use to because you hear elbow surgery and you're like, out for a year, and like, no, it's a cleanup procedure. And it's like, okay, I guess he's not out for a year. Sounds good.
Yeah, and then with Mason Wynn, with his right meniscus repair, as we talked about before, as a 2-time torn meniscus survivor, I can speak onto that and the recovery process as to which Mason Wynn is undergoing this offseason. But I digress, and we kind of dive in today to the Lars Nootbaar injury. And if you go in there, it's Jeff tweeted it out. It's in the Belleville News Democrat. But just kind of going through some of this, it doesn't seem, when you look at Yoenis Cespedes, kind of the biggest name for this in baseball in recent years, I don't know if we can continue talking about Nootbaar's trade value this offseason. I think we've moved on to, is Lars Nootbaar going to play baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2026?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what to think, but that's a good name to bring up. Jeff writes about Cespedes and says that at the time, which he also suffered a fractured ankle in a run-in with a wild boar, if you recall that.
I remember that injury,
Cespedes. Yeah. But anyway, he had this surgery in July, and they said his rehab was expected to take 8 to 10 months, and the recovery could take longer. Like, I've seen some, people write up about this Haglund's thing that, Lars Nootbaar, yeah, he'll probably be ready for the start of the next season. And I have no idea if that's accurate. Like, I have no reason to believe that it necessarily would be. And also, when you look at some other examples that Jeff Jones mentioned in his article for the Belleville News Democrat, John Wall of the Washington Wizards had this repair in 2019, and it says just days into his recovery, tore his ACL in a fall at home.
Achilles, tore his Achilles.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Achilles. Because this Haglund's deal can cause discomfort and risk damage to the Achilles, I guess, if you don't take care of it. Well, John Wall took care of it with this procedure and yet still ended up tearing the Achilles. So, like, this feels like a glass bones and paper skin situation. Like, this doesn't sound like something that automatically is just going to be, hunky-dory, and Lars Nootbaar is going to come back and, A, be productive for whoever he plays for in 2026, or B, have the trade value that I think about a month ago, Cardinals fans were thinking, okay, Lars Nootbaar, they're trying Herrera in left field. I know they want to catch him, but you've got other guys for corner outfield spots. Alec Burleson has emerged as an everyday guy. Jordan Walker, if he's still around, they might run it back with him in the other corner spot in 2026. Maybe Lars Nootbaar is somebody they can trade off of his name value, even in a season where he was underperforming. I have no idea if that's a viable option at this point. And as Jeff writes, which disappoints me, the logic makes sense. But he says, look, I mean, if Lars Nootbaar is not someone the Cardinals are able to trade, get value for via trade because of his health status, then does that increase the chances that they move Brendan Donovan because they're trying to find ways to, kind of clear the deck a little bit and move forward, get value for what they can for guys that are going to expire into free agency within a couple of years? And so does that actually increase the chances that Donovan is a name that they move, which I've already kind of thought was going to happen, but maybe in the back of my mind, I was holding out a little hope that the Cardinals wouldn't trade him. I think that that would be a mistake personally, because it would be like allowing for a sunk cost to dominate a decision that isn't a sunk cost. If Lars Nootbaar is so injury prone and dealing with a legitimate injury right now or a recovery from a surgery that he doesn't have value, I wouldn't want to let that impact what I would do with another player if I think that other player is somebody that long term can really help me win. But if they get a great offer for Donovan, fine. I don't know why the Cardinals should allow one to have much to do with the other. If Nootbaar is a sunk cost, then he's a sunk cost. You put him on the IL for the year, and you see when he comes back, maybe you can trade him in the summertime. But I don't know about that deal with the Donovan part of it, but it seems plausible. It really does.
And looking at it from that way, with that too, Brenden, if you go and in the article it mentions Cardinals are wanting to kind of get rid of one left-handed bat.
Right. And that would be that would be the reason you say, oh, can't trade Nootbaar, gotta move one of them.
If we're going Brenden Donovan, I think we all can agree. If you look at anybody on the entire Cardinals roster, I think Brenden Donovan is going to bring back the biggest return of anybody that is out there on the trade block for the 2026 season. Without a doubt, he is going to bring back the most. If we're just looking at getting rid of a left-handed bat, I don't think Brenden Donovan and Lars Nootbaar should be in the same category. Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Gorman, Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Gorman, those are the ones you're comparing there. That is your apples to apples comparison. If you're looking to unload a left-handed bat, knowing you're not going to get much back, because Lars Nootbaar, the health there, again, Lars Nootbaar, great marketable face and personality, and seems to be the guy that everyone wants in their clubhouse. But if we're talking about who you want playing on the field for you, Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Gorman, those are the two that you're parallels that you're looking at there. Brenden Donovan is a game changer organization. Like, he is that missing piece. Like, hey, we're one away. Who could we add? We're going to go out and get Brenden Donovan and become, go from the divisional series, wild card series, to being a World Series contender in Brenden Donovan.
Yeah.
Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Gorman are just like, oh, we need a left-handed bat. Let's go get them.
And you're not worried about what you're giving up in those trades nearly as much. In a Donovan trade, you're having to push your poker chips to the middle of the table. And in these other trades, it's just it's like a side pot. It's not necessarily the same category. I couldn't agree more with that. And so if you're the Cardinals, you have to ask with this, what's your motivation, and can you parse one against the other? If your motivation is to just clear the deck a little bit of the numerous left-handed bats that you have, and that's the primary motivator, then I do think, man, is there a team out there that looks to Gorman and says there's some raw power there that we can potentially unlock, and we don't have to give up a ton? Maybe you give up a AA bat or a AA arm, and if you're the Cardinals and you're actually worried about 40-man implications, great. That AA guy doesn't have to go on the 40-man, right? So you're able to kind of kick the can down the road a little bit. Do you think, if you're the Cardinals, that selling on Nolan Gorman now would be regrettable because he's finally going to tap into that 35 home run season where he's more consistent, he cuts down a little bit on the strikeouts, or he at least produces the home runs regularly, and that's finally going to happen with his plate discipline and everything coming together after however many years we've been talking about it? Like, there were parts of this past season, Joe, where I thought, here comes Gorman, like maybe that, and then he'd have another month where you go, wait, no, don't get fooled again by this.